this evening on Memories 96.5 FM with you. The program is The Good Life, and I thank you for keeping this appointment with us. We have a full house. This evening, right here with us in the studio, we have members of Nigerian Medical Association, AKPABIO State Branch, are here to talk about a campaign that is ongoing, and you'd like to hear more about that. We'll be talking with them and giving you opportunity to ask them questions. We also have a follow-up from the last presentation. We have Reverend Dr. Gideon James Ukubet. He's a senior pastor of Heritage Aflame Ministry, 6 Samuel Peter Avenue, Ikoruku, Ikonomio. Recall that someone called in the course of that broadcast to say that he would like to be supported with some crushes, and right now he's here in the studio. That's the beneficiary, Pastor Paul Xavier Ebong of Iton Ikonebum, Uyonuku government area. He's here live, and we'll be making the presentation of this special gift from this man of God, and just a bumper package for you today. Please, the program is The Good Life. The station, Memories 96.5 FM. My name is Joshua AKPABIO. We'll continue after this very brief break. Please stay with us. Program, it is The Good Life, and we join ourselves together to celebrate life, celebrate people who are making positive impact on the society and the people. Please join me to welcome Reverend Dr. Gideon James Ukubet. Sir, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Joshua. It's good to be here once again.
Thank you so much, sir. And then we have a very special guest, Paul Xavier Ebong Itoni Konibum Uyoluku government. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm
very
grateful to be here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having listened to the program enough to be able to ask for this assistance. How is your health now?
I really thank God. God has been helping me. Though it was that hectic.
Yes.
But I thank God today because God has been helping me.
Okay.
It has been a long time since 2016. I had this terrible accident. And ever since it has been very difficult. And the crutches I use, this wonderful program.
Thank you, sir.
Of Apostle Dr. Gideon. So I was so glad that when I called, I thought it is going to be something funny.
Okay.
So surprisingly, you know that there are men of God, that people God is using in these days to assist the less privileged. So I'm so grateful to be here today.
I watched you come from the gate to this place. It took you quite some time. You are still experiencing the pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to tell us how it happened, but it was an accident.
Okay, it was in 2016.
Yeah.
We were 4 sick of stroke.
Okay.
So very unfortunately, 2017, I lost my dear wife.
Sorry about that.
While I was trying, by the grace of God, to survive with the children she left behind for me. On my way to Port Harcourt on 2019, I got this terrible accident in addition that rendered me completely just like as I am now.
Yeah,
I
yes,
cannot walk, and nobody can. So it meant they were to walk.
Okay. Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine.
I thank God that in spite of all those things, God is still keeping me. Though I'm still experiencing pains.
One thing Apostle will do for you is that he'll also pray for you. Apostle Dr. Gideon James Okubek, thank you so very much.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
I'd like the listener to know that this crushes are quite expensive. They are expensive, very expensive, and we appreciate you. So why are you doing this, sir?
I'm doing it because I'm called to do this.
Okay.
Just that. If you preach the word of God to people and you do not practicalize it, then you're not doing it at all. You need to preach the word.
Yeah.
You need to feed the people. You need to care for the less privileged.
Right.
That is the true religion.
Okay. And you never knew him. You never seen him. You never met him. And you decided to help.
And I just heard his voice over the radio last Sunday.
Okay.
And for him to say this is my need, didn't call for me to know him.
Okay.
It didn't call for me to know him. I don't need to know him, but I need to believe what he's telling me and listen to the Spirit of the Lord within me, and I do the assistance.
All right. We want to thank you because you are going to make the presentation to him right here on radio. And to the listener, I would like you to know that we are on media platform, Memories 96.5 FM, on Facebook, and then we are on Radio Garden. So if you want to watch, if you want to see, you can, do so. And of course, you can tell your brother in the US to please, join us. Everyone is free to join us on the program tonight. So I'm going to take the crushes down to the man of God who will make the presentation. Thank God for MC Ane. He is a great man. Okay, thank God you are here now. He is a great man. Working with MC Ane is a very special privilege. So I'm going to take the crushes, hand over to Apostle Okubek, and then he will make the presentation to our very special guest who is a listener on the program. That means that you cannot afford, the listener, to not listen to Memories 96.5 FM. You just can't afford it. You just have to be a part of this station at all times, and of course blessings will come like this. So I will take the crushes, hand over to the man of God who will hand over to the beneficiary right now. This is for you.
Thank you, Apostle Joshua. I am very happy that you are always there for God, and we thank God for the provision that He has made. So now, on behalf of Jesus Christ, the God that had called me, and on behalf of Heritage Aflame Ministry, it is my greatest joy and privilege to present these clutches to you for your use and for your well-being. We believe that with this, many more things will come your way. It is my pleasure to present this to you.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to have it from you. I'm very, very happy.
Okay.
Very, very happy. May the Lord God Almighty, who has used you to bless me, this will enhance me to work well, and it will also help me to, be able to do better than before.
All right.
I'm very grateful, sir.
God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless and reward you more in Jesus' name.
Amen.
More grace come upon your life to continue helping the needy. In Jesus' mighty name.
Amen. From all of us, it is amen. And we want to thank God. You did tell us that you are also believing God for, Pastor Evan, we did say that you are also believing God for means of livelihood. You spoke about keke and all that. We are throwing the challenge to the listeners. Somebody can help so that you can have a source of income. You want to go to Dakada Skills Acquisition Center.
Yes, I got an admission.
Okay.
In the Dakada Skill Acquisition Center.
Okay.
But there was no sponsor.
Okay.
that I would have been in the first batch because there was no sponsor.
Okay.
Many people there were
A sponsor.
government sponsor.
Okay, all right.
So
All
that
right.
was the reason I couldn't be there. And also, this will help me to work.
Okay.
But to make ends meet, that's the reason I was looking for KK.
Okay.
So I can use it and help myself.
All right. So, listener, you have opportunity. Well-meaning listeners, individuals, and families and companies, you can, lend a helping hand and see his life to the next level. Apostle Dr. Gideon James Kubert, I want to thank you, my friend, for this good work.
You're welcome.
And God bless you. I want to thank you also, Pastor Paul Zabia Obong. Thank you so very much. God bless you and your family.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, it's on that note we take a breather on the program. We take a break on the program. And when we return, members of Nigerian Medical Association will be right here with us. Please keep your radio dial with us here on Memories 96.5 FM. Later on the program, we'll open the phone lines and you'll be a part of the program. Please stay with us. So, any music break? Thank God. That's Annie Ben, and she's based in Lagos and singing. She's from a Tenan local government area, and these are people we could also have on the program. If you have something very special that you are doing, you can come on the Good Life. You can come on Memories 96.5 FM anytime. All you have to do is to walk into the marketing department at number 3 NS Bassey Street off Oron Road, and the team will be there to talk with you. But like I told you before we went on that break, we have beautiful ladies right here with us in the studio, and these are some great AKPABIO daughters, and but they are mothers and wives. Please, I'd like to welcome to the program for the very first time Dr. Imabom Desmond. She's the chairman, Gender-Based Violence and Related Matters Committee, Nigerian Medical Association of AKPABIO State. Madam, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having us.
Very good to have you here. We also have Dr. Unima Akpan. She's member, Gender-Based Violence and Related Matters Committee, Nigerian Medical Association, AKPABIO State. Madam, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having us, sir.
All right, you guys look beautiful.
Thank you.
How's your family?
I'm good.
How's Oga?
I'm doing very good.
And you? It's like you came,
He's fine. He's
it's
the
like
one
you
that
came
actually
with
brought me
Oga.
here.
I saw him there.
Yes.
I hope he's not monitoring us.
Not at
All
all.
right,
He's
thank
just
you
showing
for
his own
coming.
way of supporting
Yes,
us.
yes, yes. Now, you have a uniform that you have, but then let's go straight to this. You have a campaign right now.
Yes.
It's called, you're working on, you are members of Gender-Based Violence and Related Matters Committee. What's that all about? Let me begin with my first friend. Let me begin with Dr. Imadon Desmond.
Okay. So the campaign that we're actually working now is titled the 16 Days Activism Against Gender-Based Violence against women and girls. It's a worldwide campaign that starts every year on the 25th of November and ends on the 10th of December.
Okay.
What does this campaign aim to achieve?
Okay.
The main aim of this campaign is to create awareness about gender-based violence.
Okay.
And I've had some people talk to me about it being a bit one-sided, but I always try to make them understand that when you think about the burden of gender-based violence, that burden is borne mostly by women and girls.
Okay.
And that is why we use this campaign to speak up, to create awareness, to cause the victims to come out, give them a voice that can actually help them to walk through the process, navigate, get all the support that they actually need, and see how we can actually put an end to gender-based violence in our community.
All right, so Dr. Onyema Akpan, what's the theme for this year?
The theme for this year is Unite.
Unite.
Yes.
Just that.
Unite to end gender-based violence.
Unite to end gender-based violence.
Yes.
Why that thing? Why the thing?
Now, looking at gender-based violence, it cuts across all group of persons, irrespective of age, gender, because even men can be a victim of gender-based violence.
Okay.
Religion, social, so we all need to come together to fight against gender-based violence.
Okay.
It's not something that just one gender or one group of persons can actually address. So everybody needs to come together to put hands together to fight this gender-based violence.
Okay. Dr. Imalo,
Yes.
you say that this thing is suffered more by the women.
Yes.
How cooperative are the men in your campaign?
Okay, we've been blessed to have the support of a lot of men. During the flag off of the initiative, the 16 days activism, we had a lot of men that attended the event. We have actors in the propagation of this movement that are actually men. They give us their support. My colleague is here. He's a man, even though he's not speaking, but he's here to give us his support because we know that for us to be effective in stamping out these men, we cannot do it alone. We need the active support of the men to speak for us also, and to ensure that they create safe spaces for women, be it at the workplace, be it at the homes, be it at schools. The men are active participants of this campaign, and we are very grateful for that.
All right, Dr. Onyema, you have to answer this. Now, you have women that are going through stuff. I have, on the course of this broadcast, we've heard some things. And then the question is this: don't you think that most of these problems that happens, especially in marriages and in other relationships, the woman initiated what brought the violence?
All right. I think when we talk about marriage, both parties have their parts to play.
Yes.
Both the man and the woman.
All right.
And we do not expect to have 100% from any party.
I agree with you.
We all have weaknesses and our strength. So before you can make it work, you should know the other person's weakness and know how to help the person from them. Agreed, we have our own weaknesses.
As
women, yes, as women we do. We do. And that's why we have our men by our side. There are times we err. And if you know that that is our weakness. You should be able to help us get over it.
Okay.
But then the society has made us vulnerable in the sense that sometimes we are made to feel that we are like a subordinate in the home.
Okay.
And even when we tend to voice out, somebody, like for instance, if something happens in a home, even if it's the man's fault, and I voice out, even my own mother will tell me, please take good care of your home, try and put your home together. Nobody will blame my husband for it. You know. But if it is the woman that errs, the whole world will sag me. What kind of a woman is that? You know. So somehow we are at the receiving end. But then if you have a husband that understands you, it's easy to pull through together.
All right, let me go to Dr. Imadon. I'd like to ask you this. Of all the issues within a marriage, which one has been most problematic? Let me give you some choices.
Okay.
Food and feeding. The bedroom aspect. Money. In all your campaigns, which one has been the most rampant cause of violence in the home?
Okay, just like my colleague has said, the women are actually put in a vulnerable position, and I think that cuts across every part of the marital aspect. There is no one part that is superior to the other.
Okay. Exactly.
These things are issues that can actually bring up strife or tension in any family. Okay. But just like she has said, what matters is that both parties are able to collaborate and find a common ground to managing this misunderstanding so that they do not escalate. There's no one part that is more prominent than the other. We walk through these cases and we see that it can come from any angle. Yeah. The most important thing is just being able to put them together.
So you have these days of campaign, 25 November through December 10.
Yes.
And that's what you do, like every year.
Yes.
But I want to ask a question. Why don't you put up, campaigns before now? For instance, why don't you run a regular radio program in AKPABIO and all that, and get to sensitize people ahead of this massive campaign? Let me still ask you, Dr. Emmanuel.
Okay, so I want to give credence to the AKPABIO State Gender-Based Violence Committee, Barrister Ememete.
Okay.
She does an excellent work in this regard. Okay. And just as we speak now, there are several other radio talk shows that are on that are also still speaking to this gender-based violence movement. So this is not an isolated event. It's not something that just happens once in a while. No. All through the year, there are activities going on, sensitizations, empowerment for victims, support for victims of gender-based violence. Okay. So it's all encompassing. It's not this particular campaign is just to increase the awareness, but all year long, activities channeled to gender-based violence goes on all around the clock.
All right. So, Dr. Onyema Akpan, the question is where are you from? Local government?
I am from Orokanam local government.
All right, so you are Anna.
Yes, I am.
All right, this is your campaign. Say it in Anna now. Let somebody hear us.
Okay. Ayidribamike Memories 96.5 FM. Iyemita iko ibanga. Mpo kemekinam yarawo adi kopinem kidem ku fondo or kitchen tekere for bara. Maybe mpo ina mawo mi na mawo de ikopinem kidem mo because maybe ke wode de one or ke de wode or for any reason but maybe ekpe de wode na mpo de be sue you but de one akpe na maybe you ikpe na anam because of the one or awode nekpe na always see you be wood and even cinema wood and a mutom body. So Untara Yiriba made a yainwam, yainam a throwaway near who came song. So that I say throwaway Kadeba Kifuru came and came we would because they one or they would in a throw a corrupt talking Kima.
And then I'm to do the same young. So Yambo, Dr. Desmond. Emi awono. Amenam to do. Yes. Awo ba akorugona abaki correct bene abake obodo kara akop se for Canada. The men never go yo London. Amenam to do. So, young lady, Dr. Imabong Desmond, Apotuke, Nsurubio. So, you be the I'm popular to Nsurubio. Nko amese so like governor. Uyaka. Okay, the question on them. Ngoma abidon tum. Nso menso ke mufe nam ke museni fam. Tonku sen edap metium ke fion goro ke tuto sam abina ma sam musen duop ke fion goro na. Nso menso po ke nanga abina mewedi on te bina ate ebe se tamanwan. Anwana to mebe ku from do.
Okay. We come to the radio.
Yes.
We talk just like we are doing now. We inform people.
Yes.
We let them know that these things happen. These situations actually happen, and it can be your neighbor today. It can be your sister tomorrow.
Right.
If we keep quiet and we do not talk about it, tomorrow it can be you in that same situation.
Okay.
So the person that is being abused, person experiencing gender-based violence, and the person that sees and does nothing about it, they both do not help them. They both do not help the situation.
Okay.
So we sensitize people. We go to secondary schools to sensitize the girls about how they can protect themselves from unsafe spaces. We go to different work places to also even the market women. We talk to them about it. Everybody needs to know the situation. A lot of people do not really understand what gender-based violence. They feel it is until a husband beats a wife or a wife beats a husband. It's not limited to that alone. No. A young girl that is assaulted or harassed at school, in the walk as she's walking along the road, a young man tapped her bum or her breast. That is gender-based violence. So it is not limited to the marriage aspect alone. It cuts across every part of our lives every day. So that's what we do.
I also need to clap for you. Ask me why.
Why?
For giving Nsurubium a new language. The new language of Nsurubium is now English, according to Dr. Imabong Desmond. Because we said you should talk to the people in Nsurubium language, which I know is a video. But I know that I'm fear with Nsurubium. So it's okay that you spoke in English.
Okay.
If you just joined us, the program is The Good Life on Memories 96.5 FM. We are playing host this evening to members of the Nigerian Medical Association AKPABIO State Chapter. We have Dr. Imabong Desmond and Dr. Unyema Akpan. These guys are part of the team on the Gender-Based Violence and Related Matters Committee of the Nigerian Medical Association. Please, I'd like you to please keep your radio down right here. When we return, we would like to open the phone lines and ask you to ask them questions in Nsurubium language or in Orogonan language. Please stay with us. The Good Life on Memories 96.5 FM. We just have another entrant, a man who is also part of this team, Dr. Gabriel. It's like his microphone shy, but we still have the representatives right here with us on the program. This is The Good Life. Today we are taking a look at issues to do with gender-based violence and related matters. And we have representatives of the Nigerian Medical Association AKPABIO State Chapter right here with us. We have Dr. Imabong Desmond. We also have Dr. Unyema Akpan. They are both Dr. Imabon Desmond is the chairman, while Dr. Onyema is a member. I'm sure Dr. Gabriel is also a member. But like I said, we would later take a call or two. But right now, we have a very important issue. It's got to do with HIV/AIDS and the campaign. You know, so let me begin with you, Dr. Imabon Desmond. What's the relationship with this campaign for HIV and then what you are doing?
Okay, so let me start by giving us a little bit of a history. Today is actually the World's AIDS Day.
Yeah.
It's a day set aside in the entire world to create awareness about HIV/AIDS and see how we can contain the spread of the disease.
Okay.
So I find it befitting that we are talking about gender-based violence and HIV/AIDS and how to silence this epidemic, how we can break the stigma.
Okay.
Because women that are exposed to gender-based violence, they are at risk more of contracting HIV/AIDS. How?
Okay.
Women that are forced into forced prostitution, human trafficking, women that are assaulted sexually in their homes or at their workplaces or along the way to the market. Most of the time, these experiences are done without any protection, and you do not know who is assaulting you. So that increases the chance of that woman contracting HIV/AIDS, and that's one way. A second way in which gender-based violence is connected to HIV/AIDS. Okay, eventually this woman gets HIV/AIDS from being sexually assaulted, and then she cannot disclose it to her partner or any member of her family because one, there is a stigma associated with gender-based violence. Our society says, oh, it's because you were wearing a certain kind of clothes or because you were walking around in the night, that is why you were sexually assaulted. And that brings us back to creating safe spaces. We know from available information that women do not feel safe compared to the males walking at night, and it's not supposed to be so. Every gender is supposed to feel safe at any time of the day. So this woman now contracts HIV/AIDS and cannot disclose her status even if she knows to her partners or members of her family, because it can expose her to more violence. The family can cast her out, or the husband can accuse her of being unfaithful, meanwhile she was actually assaulted for no fault of hers. That's another way in which gender-based violence and HIV are intertwined. Okay, you finally disclose your status and you are started on medications. Most women hide to go and collect their drugs because they do not want people to know. They do not want their partners to know. And sometimes they can't even take these drugs because they are afraid of somebody asking them, why are you going to the hospital every time for checkup? And the cycle of HIV spreading and gender-based violence it just keeps going on. So if we are able to bring a halt to gender-based violence in all spaces in our communities, we can start to work towards gaining control of the spread of HIV in our communities.
All right, so let me ask Dr. Onyema Atman. You are in the medical field.
Yes, sir.
What's the present status of HIV/AIDS in our country, in our state?
Okay, currently, let me start with the global data that we have at hand.
Okay.
Globally, we have about 35% of women that have experienced either physical or sexual assaults, which are at risk of HIV. And out of this, 7% of women have been sexually assaulted.
Okay.
Then, other than that, approximately 200 women have experienced female genital mutilation.
In Nigeria, in Akwa Ibom?
Worldwide. I'm talking about worldwide currently. So when we go by this, you see the risk of this being infected with HIV. Before we were working with about 6% of our population being infected with HIV. And out of this, the greater part of it are the female as opposed to the male. So that is why if you want to talk about control of HIV/AIDS, we should work more on the female, because apart from the female transmitting it to their male partners, the children are also at risk. So if a male is infected, it's only the female that is at risk. But if a female is infected, the male partner is at risk, and the children are also at risk.
Correct.
So let's try and see how we can put a halt to gender-based violence.
Okay.
Because most of the time, like from my experience, if you test a male partner and the person is infected, some of them can sit there right before you and call the wife to come and get tested. So contact tracing is a walkover
Men, yes.
Okay.
for men. They will even, if they can't get to the wife, they will bring the wife to the hospital and they get tested.
And all their girlfriends.
And by the time yes, they can even bring all their girlfriends to
Okay,
the testing.
They do actually.
So if all of them are put on treatment,
Right.
their viral load will be suppressed, and the risk of transmission at that point is contained.
Okay.
But for the female client that comes to you and is tested positive, the first thing the female tells you is, please don't allow anybody to hear about it.
Especially the husband.
No, at the first instance, it's anybody.
Anybody, yeah.
In short, for her to even sit in front of you, she's telling you, oh, that is my church member person. I hope she doesn't know that I'm infected.
Okay.
Like, she's just being diagnosed, and she's already stigmatizing herself, because this stigma, you have self-stigmatization.
Yeah.
So anybody passing around her, she's already apprehensive. You're not telling her about contact tracing, and she's like, no, please, I don't want to lose my home. You try to counsel her into accepting treatment. She eventually does, like my colleague said. But how does she take this treatment without the husband knowing?
Okay.
Where does she even hide the medication to take? The days the husband is at home, she won't take those medications because she can't hide it.
Okay.
So it's really a problem for the female folks out there. So that's why we are advocating on this gender-based violence issue, so that let's see how we can contain them, reduce the risk of the female ones being exposed, and then the rate of transmission to both the partners and the children.
Dr. Marvin Desmond, it's like you have something to say.
Okay, yes, I was about to chip in that if we have more male participation, we would actually start inching towards success in this regard. I was facilitating a training recently, and someone asked a very pertinent question, because we gave the rate of HIV among women and men, and we say it's higher in women than in men. And someone asked me, could it be that it's because whenever there are health outreaches in the communities, the women are more willing to come out and be tested than the men? If more men are active in participation, if more men show interest in actually taking charge of their sexual health and their reproductive health, could it be that these rates will change? And I think that's a very important question.
So I want to throw back the question to you.
Yes.
What are you doing to get the men folk very well into this campaign?
This is one of the ways that we are actually doing that, by creating awareness through all possible channels, on radio, on TV, on social media. We are advocating for more male collaboration, more male participation in reproductive health matters. Let us see if we can bring about an equal access to this information. If we are doing an outreach, let us encourage the men to come out, get tested, because the average man of them, there's nothing wrong with me. If you want to check him and say, I'm fine, there's nothing wrong with me. But the woman will be more willing, oh, please check me, let me know. And that may be the reason why we're actually having the incidence, the rate of HIV. It looks like it is more in the women. I believe that as more men begin to collaborate and participate with us, we'll be able to strike a balance between this.
All right, Dr. Dr. Onime. Now, we know that HIV is a medical challenge. Yes. We also know that we have diabetes, we have hypertension, we have all that. Why should a husband, treat the wife badly because she has the issue?
Okay, now, although HIV, diabetes, and other diseases of such are all chronic diseases, but the mode of transmission is the problem here. If I have diabetes, people would come to tell me, oh, sorry, how did it happen? Because they believe are probably contracted from maybe genetic pattern or maybe lifestyle, which is not related to sex. You know, in our environment, it's very difficult to accept issues that are related to sex. But for the HIV, majority is sexually transmitted. It's only very few, very minute percentage that you can talk about sharing of sharps and other factors, or maybe blood transfusion. The percentage there is very big. The higher percentage is through sexual transmission. And if anybody hears that I'm HIV infected, nobody thinks about blood transfusion. Nobody thinks about sharp objects. The first thing that comes to mind is, no wonder she's been sleeping around with men. So, and even a husband hearing that the wife is HIV infected will be thinking of, what will my friends say?
But he might not even know that that could have even come from him too.
No. It's the first person that is diagnosed that is at risk. And you know, we make it routine check for every pregnant woman. So any pregnant woman that comes to the hospital has to be screened for HIV. Unfortunately, the woman comes alone. The husband does not come with her for ANC. And most of the time, it's the woman that is diagnosed first. Or maybe the baby falls ill and you bring a baby. If the baby is not up to 18 months, if you want to screen for HIV, it's the mother that we screen. Sometimes maybe the woman was not infected during pregnancy and comes during immunization and gets screened and is infected. Because she's the one to be diagnosed first. If the husband hears, he will not even want to be tested. All he says is, where did you get this thing from? You know, and all of that. So if our men can help us come to the clinics with our women, maybe if the child is ill, both of them come to the hospital, so that if we do couple testing and counseling, it will make the work easy for everybody, because both of them will know their status together and will be counseled together, and maybe most of those myths will be cleared. It will make the work easy for everybody.
All right, and if you're a man listening to us on the program The Good Life this evening, I'd like to remind you that just the way you walk with Madame to the supermarket, to the church, and all that, you can go to take care of your medical needs, including testing and understanding issues to do with HIV/AIDS. We are really going to open the phone lines for 1 or 2 calls, because I know some people want to be a part of the program. We're going to open the phone lines on 0803 085 7755. That number is 0803 085 7755 or 0809 066 6909. That number is 0809 066 6909. You can ask your question in either Orugana or in Nsurubium. Incidentally, Nsurubium is now English. So I make any code without time call me. I bought me a simple married woman, I don't know, a doctor. I bought my make ipu chata, ipu chata, tune. Itiaba, tune. Middle of Oko, ipu chata, ipu socket, ipu chioke, ichioke socket, ipu socket. That time come Yare enam do tomebara mewo oku sentomeku from the oku mia ebe oku mia wan oku suenye oku utredi no onye ko oku tu tredi na mumia nkwa eno ebe di dian ke udon ekuto HIV/AIDS udon chaita ya ni siku emari yo won so so ke nkpodo. So anye ki bo ke make me code abambome afo yemi bab ofo taniko asen adome doctor is baba mi. Yes, I can so I did one more. So, Doctor, apart from this radio campaign, what are you doing at this time to also boost awareness, your community, with the enemy?
Okay, so we work hand in hand with the AKPABIO State Gender-Based Violence Committee. There are for this 16 days of activism, there is a long list of events that are slated for each day. I think on the 3rd, either 2nd or 3rd of December, there's going to be a summit for all the gender-based violence survivors, where they're going to tell their story, say how they've been able to walk through this process, the support that they have gotten.
Are they really going to come?
Yes, yes, they've been, yes, they do come around. Every year we have women that have that have actually survived gender-based violence, people that were close to losing their lives from this menace, and they share their stories, how they've been able to survive regardless of everything that they've gone through, and it actually makes other people, usually after those kind of summits, we get more people come up to speak because they know, oh, this is somebody that was just like me, and then she has been able to come out of this. So it encourages other people to come out and speak about it.
So you get them come out and they can share their experience, and then others will learn. And all
others
that.
are encouraged to even come out and speak up. Come out of whatever situation and speak up. They get the support that they need, but be it medical, legal, psychological counseling, they get all the support that they need, and they are able to live lives different from those situations that they found themselves.
But anyway, you know, medical things are very expensive now. So you mean in this your campaign, if I come I speak, that and you see the need, that's you guys see the need for medical attention, how much am I supposed to pay?
It depends on a lot of factors. Number one, when you're assessing care, like the cost of health care in the private facility is different from that of the government facility. Then the particular illness you're assessing care for, like treatments for malaria is different from treatment for diabetes. So it depends on what kind of care you're seeking. And then some people are on health insurance. Thank God Akwa Ibom State now has a Akwa Ibom State health insurance. So some people under health insurance, you get to pay like 30% of the cost of your treatment, while those that are not under health insurance, you need to pay the whole fare. So it depends on a lot of factors like I mentioned.
I would like to also chip in that there are some actors in this movement. We have NGOs that are doing marvelous work, like Enquiry in Akwa Ibom State, ANI. We also have the Akwa Ibom State Agents Action Committee on AIDS. Yes, exactly. They actively link gender-based violence survivors to healthcare services. There is a SAC center, Sexual Assault Response Center, in General Hospital in Kodekmene, where victims of gender-based violence of any form, whether it be sexual, financial, emotional, are referred to those centers. They are treated for free, given medications for free, followed up for free, and referred to other support services like those that want to probably prosecute, arrest the offenders, they get free legal aid. So there is actually a community, a growing community of people that are actively supporting gender-based violence, and it's really making a lot of people come out the more because they know that the support is available for them.
You are working with a bigger organization. You are within NMA. Let me ask you, how much do you think the government is doing, or what should the government do more to assist your campaign?
Okay, the government is doing a lot. Like Akwa Ibom State, as we speak, has a gender-based violence committee set up and being run by the state government. Members of the committee are mostly Akwa Ibom State employees. And then they've crafted in NGOs, like my colleague mentioned. We have a lot of NGOs, both international and local NGOs that are collaborating. And we also have women from different walks of life. We have lawyers, that's a feeder, female lawyers. We have policemen in the committee. We have journalists. We have a lot of people in the committee. So that whatever care the victim needs, we should have people to like call on immediately, and we have a swift response. So it's an all-encompassing committee, and we are sending reports to the government because there's actually a database for the gender-based violence. For each facility, there is a committee, or should I call it a focal person for each facility, who records the incidents of gender-based violence, transmit it to the states. So at that level now, the state knows the incidents, and then they come in where they need to, because I think the major issue that we have here is that people come in when it happens,
Okay.
make a report, and then you bring in this committee. At some point they back out. So that's why we're not really hearing about these issues, because they tend to settle it at the level of the family and church level. Some of them, they will come in so down, and by the time you bring in the committee, they will tell you, okay, our family head called us, we've settled it, or the church pastor said we should settle it. So I think that's the major challenge that we are having. But at the state level, I think they are doing a good job there. They're actually attending to them the way they should.
I think I'm actually grateful for the airways. We couldn't get calls, so that you have enough time to have your explanations. You want to say something about the responsibilities of the government in your campaign more?
Okay, so just as my colleague has said, it's actually the responsibility of the government to create a safe space for this woman. And I'm really grateful for the AKPABIO state government. Currently, there is I think either 30 or 35 bed shelter for women that are exposed, that are victims of gender-based violence. Because one of the greatest aim, the most important aim, when you encounter a gender-based violence victim, you cannot send that woman back to that place where she is likely to be beaten up again, because you don't know, the next series of beating might get her, might end her being dead. Exactly. Yeah. So we weigh and find out how severe is this situation that this victim is encountering, and if it is something that the woman needs to be kept in a safe space, that shelter is available for those women.
That's good to know.
Yes, it's actually a very good one that the state has actually set up. And apart from this shelter, like my friend said, my colleague said, the committee is made up of different professionals that are available to provide care and support along all the different areas, whether it is medical, whether it is legal, social care workers for women that have children. They link these women with sources of livelihood, empower them so that they can be able to fend for themselves. Because one of the main drivers of gender-based violence is the inequality in the economy. A woman is totally dependent on the man for everything. But if you're able to empower that woman financially, give her a business, something that can make her have her own source of income, you find that it actually contributes a lot to preserve them, keep them away from those toxic environments. So the state is actually doing an excellent job in that regard.
All right, going forward in your campaign, what next? Because we'll be calling it a day very soon. What next in your campaign as you campaign? What is the next thing on the agenda? I mean, going forward. Okay,
going forward, we actually look forward to a time where everybody is free to be safe.
Okay.
As a mother, I feel very sad, or I don't know, I'm trying to find the word. I'm afraid, yes, that's the word. Okay. I'm afraid whenever I see young girls of maybe between the ages of 8 to 10 walking along the road without an adult counterpart walking with them.
Yeah, I see that a lot.
Exactly. That shows the level of how bad the situation is, because you are not even, you cannot guarantee the safety of a young 8 or 10-year-old girl just running an errand for the mother or the father. You are afraid, when someone raped this girl and she's going like this, why is she not working with an adult? Okay. So we look forward to a time where we'll be able to know that our children are safe. Right. The female child is safe. The woman is safe, whether she's going to work, whether she's going to sell in the market. The woman and the girl are free from all forms of violence, all forms of discrimination. We look forward to that time, and with the work that is being done, the awareness that is being created, we are very sure that it's very achievable.
Okay.
What next?
We are looking up to a situation in the nearest future where more people can speak up. Okay. We will have more of the male support, starting from the children growing up. There's a way a child has confidence in her father, that even when somebody walks up, maybe makes an advance out there, the child comes back and speaks up. Because most of the things that happen, there might have been a threat somewhere, and the child is afraid to mention it to the father. So if you can create a safe space right from home, for these children to speak up, to relate with us freely. It will really help us. Then for those that are eventually exposed to this violence, if they can speak up, take for instance the PrEP, that's a post-exposure prophylaxis.
Okay.
It works effectively within the first 72 hours. But most people cannot speak up at that point in time until things get wrong. And at that point, there's very little to what you can do. So we just need a safe place for people to walk freely and to speak up whenever they have issues to get help.
So from me, it could be very terrible to hear that even a father can abuse the daughter, and I can't understand why you should abuse yourself, because that daughter came from you and all that, and we need to be very, very careful. On this program, we want to assure you that even as a radio station, we join you in the campaign. We identify with you that you are doing very wonderful work, and of course, even yours truly is free to come and campaign along with you. I'll do that. I've been on family program for a very long time, so we understand these things. Dr. Imadon Desmond, Chairman, Gender-Based Violence and Related Matters Committee, Nigerian Medical Association, AKPABIO State Chapter. Thank you for being on the program.
Thank you very much for having us.
Let me also thank Dr. Unyema Akman, member, Gender-Based Violence and Related Matters Committee, Nigerian Medical Association, AKPABIO State Chapter. Thank you, ma'am.
It's a pleasure, sir.
Let me thank the listeners. Sorry you couldn't cut across today, but you could always call in at any time and ask any question. I want to thank all the studio hands, management and staff of Memories 96.5 FM. But let me particularly thank Paul. He's on the online business and doing it very well. And let me also thank the engineer on duty, but especially our big boy, MCNA. Thank you so very much. And listener, please join us in the next edition, next week, Sunday at 7 p.m. on The Good Life. Goodbye, God bless you, God bless your family. You can also call me 0806 444 1212. My name is Joshua AKPABIO. Abasidio Mfin, Abasidio Mkwaibum, Abasidio.